He didn't
Donovan
like
Mitchell,
intro, wow.
Draymond Green is a great example of what's different from the playoff hill and the regular season hill. He never sniffed the regular season hill, but now it's playoff time. We know what type of playoff performer he is. Zion Paolo, we have not seen, on this stage in a significant way, but given how they played this year, they make it. Maxey played well in the postseason last year. And then Halliburton, DeMar DeRozan is kind of a scattered playoff history, but a lot of that was just because he kept running into LeBron James. So, row 6, Jaylen Brown, Paul George, Devin Booker, Kyrie, who both have had spectacular postseason moments or runs. Never been, for Booker, never had a great finals run, but has had a great run to the finals. Kyrie, it's been a while, but we have seen him have a monster postseason, monster finals performance. Dame, it's been a while as well, but we've seen him have monster postseason performances. And De'Aaron Fox was quite good last year till the broken finger. All right, 5th row. Again, this is where the playoff part comes in. My fake NBA MVP ballot, I had Jalen Brunson on it. And Jalen Brunson, by the way, has been excellent in the playoffs in his career. But he's not one of the 10 guys in the league I trust the most come the postseason, so that's where he is right now. Same with SGA. SGA is going to get first place MVP votes. But the only times we've ever seen him in the postseason was when he was a young pup on Chris Paul's Oklahoma City team or when he was with the Clippers. So because of that, he's where he is. Tatum also. He's had some high playoff highs also. Wiles, what did he have?
Well, he had 100 turnovers.
100 turnovers in the year they went to the finals. Jamal Murray benefits massively from it being a playoff edition of the Hill. Jamal Murray, over the last few years, when he's been healthy, has been a consistent, dominant playoff performer, including before Nikola Jokic was considered an MVP-level player, Jamal Murray was dropping 50 in playoff games. Now, those were playoff games where the other team employs Rudy Gobert, so we know usually somebody finds a way to average 50 against that drop defense, but still. Now to the top 10. Legends row. Steph, KD, Kawhi, Anthony Davis, not quite a legend, but trying to build it. These are guys that if you are rooting for the other team and they come up against you in the playoffs and they're healthy, they can ruin your whole summer.
Yes.
We have seen Steph do it a couple years ago. We saw Kevin Durant do it a couple years before that. Kawhi Leonard did it a couple years before that, and Anthony Davis did it sandwiched right in between alongside LeBron James. Now, Brew, this row is the toughest because this row is injuries and questions and very different playoff resumes. Giannis scored 50 to win a championship. Giannis had one of the best playoff runs in recent memory. Giannis also is hurt right now. Joel Embiid, based on the regular season version, King of the Hill, has kind of been the king of the last 2 years when he's been playing. In the playoffs, we're yet to see him have that great playoff moment. It's the opposite of Jimmy Butler, who in the regular season doesn't really seemingly care to show up that much come the playoffs. He has been as dominant as any perimeter player in the league over the last 5 years in the playoffs, aside from Steph and LeBron James. Maybe, honestly, more Steph missed the playoff songs than Steph won a title. He's right on par. Luka and LeBron. Luka is self-evident, second most playoff points per game in NBA history, only to Jordan, and he actually could, in this postseason, overtake Jordan for that first all-time, a list Jordan's been at the top of for my entire life, seemingly. And then there's LeBron, which I understand there's going to be some potential pushback or skepticism on that. But LeBron James, when healthy, which he is right now, has shown year in and year out that he is as able to control the game in the postseason, unlike really anyone in the league. And while I might disagree with Brew a bit on how much he does or doesn't control winning right now compared to other players in the league, it is not comparable to how he was as a younger player. But come the playoffs, he gets back in that mode. And we've seen him healthy once in the postseason as a Laker, and they did end up winning the championship. Then, of course, atop the playoff version of King of the Hill is Nikola Jokic. He's the reigning NBA champion, the reigning finals MVP, and had a marvelous postseason run last year where LeBron did give him his best shot and won 0 games out of it. So that, Brew, is LeBron did give him his best shot and won.
Okay. So as he was listening to all this, I was trying to figure out how the best way to break this down is, because, you know, it's a combination between what we think the players are capable of doing today as well as what they've done in the past. So it's always this, unique kind of balance and kind of give and take of weighing the past to the present. But the first thing that stood out to me was Maxey being all the way at the bottom. Maxey is absolutely ascending. He is arguably the fastest basketball player in the league right now. He is so exciting. And again, I think a lot of people have not really seen him this season, specifically, especially since Embiid went down. And so not a lot of people are watching the Sixers. No one really cares, and understandably so. But especially with Embiid on the court when they're competitive, Maxey is absolutely crucial. And he is only getting better every single game. Mark my words, he is going to be a superstar in this league within the next few years. I'm not saying this year or next year, but it'll take time because he's really young. Again, he's like 22 or 23 years old. I think if the Sixers actually can go on a run and Maxey actually has time, it's not like they're just like only play one series or whatever. Maxey is going to play better than a Booker, than a PG-13, than Brown, than Donovan, definitely, than Paolo, DeRozan, Fox. And again, I'm not necessarily saying that he's better than these players all right now, but I think he's going to perform better in the playoffs. Butler, I think Tatum, we'll still have him. Tatum's a bigger, stronger guy. Edwards, I think, also just a bigger, stronger guy, and also more experience in this moment. And SGA is more of the leader, so he's just going to have more opportunities because Embiid is still the leader of the Sixers, especially offensively, which then does limit some of what Maxey can do in any given moment because Embiid is definitely the focal point. But when they're both going, I mean, again, what has made the Sixers so great and so dominant has really been a combination of factors when Embiid is playing. Embiid is there as well as having Maxey. It really, really does matter. Maxey can really just get to anywhere, and he's at the point right now in his career where he is exhausting to the defense because he is, I'm telling you, if you haven't really watched Maxey, go watch highlights. He is so fast. I mean, remember back in the old days when Steph would be just running around in circles and you would see the defense would be gassed because Steph never stops moving. That's what Maxey is like, except Maxey is like 20% faster and bigger. So it's just more physical. So Maxey is, you get exhausted just watching him play, honestly. He never stops moving, and he is so lightning quick. I mean, to the point where it's almost like uncomfortable because I feel like sometimes it puts his body in a compromised situation. I'm like, no, don't go for that layup because you're going so fast that it's like your momentum is taking you. And there's so many times he slams into like the post kind of, for the rim and stuff, and all the camera people and all the fans sitting down. I'm always like, oh, it makes me cringe because it's like, first off, they need to give those players more space to land, but also just because, it just feels like it's an injury waiting to happen because, again, he's so fast. All the momentum is going. And, and again, I'm not going to say he's as good as Steph or he can shoot like Steph, but he is a great player. He really, really is. So I just think that he would be higher up there. Giannis, I'm not expecting the Bucks to be able to do anything, and I don't think Giannis is even going to be able to play in the playoffs this season potentially, because I don't think the Bucks are going to get past the first series. And even if Giannis plays, I just can't imagine him being truly dominant. But maybe I'll be surprised. I don't know. Jokic deserves to be at the top. He is probably does the most. Everyone always talks about LeBron being just kind of like this awesome Swiss Army type guy, and I think that's what Jokic is at this point as well. And Luka always steps up in the playoffs too. He always gets his points, so I don't think necessary issue up there. I'm not seeing LeBron again. I see LeBron having moments of greatness. I see LeBron having moments where he's at the king of the hill, where he's at the top of that mountain, but I don't see him consistently being able to do it. So I just wouldn't put him in top 3 necessarily because I'm just not seeing his ability to necessarily do it consistently. But, outside of some of these other players, right, like a Kawhi question mark with his health, Embiid, Giannis question marks with their health. I forget if I just said AD or not, question mark. Murray has definitely, stepped up last playoffs, and it'll be interesting to see if he continues that trend. Depends to see. It'll be interesting to see if he's truly a big game player and rises to the occasion, or if he and the Nuggets were able to just strike lightning in the bottle last season. I'm really curious to see. And same thing with SGA and Anthony Edwards. These are two ascending players, younger players who have got very limited early on playoff experience, but now they are on better teams than they had previously, as well as more mature, more older themselves. And so I'm really curious to see what these guys do, because again, this could be Edwards or SGA's coming out party where they're like, yo, we are here. Everyone keeps talking about our youth and this or that. We are here. We are the stars of the leagues right now. There is no more waiting. We are here. It has to happen one of these days. I mean, it should happen one of these days, whether it's this season or the next, who really knows? I think Tatum is going to give us exactly what he's always given us. Same thing with Brunson. Same thing with Brown. Same thing with PG. And I think Dame's age is showing. I don't think Dame can show the same level of consistency. Same thing with KD. Same thing with Steph. And like I've said this also in the past about LeBron, I just don't see them being able to be consistently great. Again, I think all those players that I just mentioned, pretty much the older stars, they all can have their moments where they're just like, wow, these guys really are some of the best basketball players we've ever seen ever. But they just can't consistently do it. If they have a wild night where Dame knocks down 8 threes and you're just like, oh my God, he is shooting the lights out of the ball. My instincts tell me that the next game he'll shoot 2 for 10, 2 for 8 or something, right? It won't be as insane. These guys are just not in their prime anymore. Can they rise to the occasion when the moment calls for it? Absolutely. Do you still, no matter what, have to give all your attention to them? Absolutely. But I just don't think that they have what it takes to do it consistently throughout the series, or at the very least throughout the entire playoffs, if they're lucky enough to continue to progress from round to round to round. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you think of Nick's, playoff player rankings? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help with the visibility, and it really helps combat all the trolls and the haters. Thank you so much, and see you next time.